yourself.
Oh, look at this, Devin, the Tribal Chief. I tapped out on AEW, so I couldn't tap out on TNA for years. You can tap out on AEW.
It ain't just me. It's a Devin thing. You see what I'm saying? But I still look. I still respect. Oh, I don't even cut you off. But just seeing that made me. I feel better because look, man. AEW is gonna be AEW for AEW, and I appreciate that. It's fine, and I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna have fun, But I ain't gonna be sitting up there, getting my blood pressure high no more. I'm just not. So if I want to know, I feel the same way. They actually did the arm thing for me on AEW.
Well, you tell me. You tell me what's going on with AEW. What is the biggest issue with AEW? Lord comes out and says, he says 10 will get you commentary seats in AEW. Look, man, I'm telling you.
Be right there. They kick Tony Schiavone out your spot.
Yeah, I was like, I heard everything Tony Schiavone said. Like, the only problem, we already said what the problem was. We could get into that a little bit later. But Devin, what is the biggest issue with AEW? You being, of course, the biggest AEW hater, known to man.
I ain't the biggest AEW hater. That's CM Punk. No, I'm just kidding. I ain't put nobody else.
Hater.
But no, the biggest issue is like they don't want to grow. They don't. And you can't tell me that they do, because if they wanted to, they wouldn't be downsizing stadiums, or they wouldn't be trying to bring in less people or bring up an excuse, or we don't want to go to a smaller building because our set's so big. Man, no, you stop making excuses. WWE, they literally broke down their set to fit more people in. How that work? Your issue, we got this big old set. That's why. But the biggest issue, as I just said, they don't want to grow. And I say that because it's like, look, they drive people away. They drove me away. I mean, they drove me away. Yeah, drove me away a couple of times, but they ain't never been to this level where I'm like, I put it like this. With AEW, it's like they'll say not say it in my face, but they'll claim and say like, this is where the best wrestle. This is the best. This is the best. That's blah. All I hear is the BEST. That's all I hear. That's not what I see though. And like I look at a TNA, and like TNA been around for a while, but they don't be walking around beating their chest saying this is where the best is at. They just know that TNA, look, this is who we are. We're professional wrestling. If you like our stuff, cool. But we ain't gonna tell you, that our cereal tastes the best. We just gonna let you eat your cereal, eat our, whatever. It's just when AEW stand in my face and constantly tell me that they the best at everything, and I'm like, cool, why don't you just show me? I don't need you constantly telling me, oh, this is the best place ever. This is where the best go to wrestle. Just do it. And I feel like I've been saying that for years. Like, just stop talking, y'all. Do it. Like, I ain't gonna lie, Tony Khan been doing better because I ain't been really seeing him crash out on social media. So that's a big plus. And that was another thing. He need to step away. That, you know what? I take that back. I'm gonna hand it to you. I'm sorry. The biggest issue, I'm hiding away. The biggest issue with AEW is Tony Khan. That's what I'm gonna say. Because it means all right. But he need at least another, I don't know, he needs somebody just to hold his hand with this, man. Just like, and I ain't trying to say it in a disrespectful way. It's just like, you want to get this right, don't you? Like, don't you want this to be successful? I know you enjoy doing it. This is, something you love. Well, don't you want it to grow and be for set to go on for however long? Look at WWE. It's been going on longer than me. So that's my thing is leadership, Tony Khan, and they need to start to make moves to grow. Don't just stay in your little niche audience, because I mean that's all you're gonna have, and quit, kicking people away when they don't like something.
Yeah, that is exactly where I'm going towards. Devin, the Tribal Chief, says AEW is built to be seen live, but not for television. That's a fact. And even then, like,
live in your backyard.
That is the crazy part. And we talked about it after the World Rumble when we were on the Get Your podcast. We talked about how sometimes when you go to, not even sometimes, most of the time when you go to a wrestling event, especially WWE, you be cheering for people that you don't even care about. It's probably a bathroom break for you when you're at home. But man, the minute you get like, you care so much when you're there. But like, and that's pretty much how it is when you see a whole lot of it. So honestly, I think you hit the nail on the head for most of it. Surprisingly, I'm shocked. I'm not playing, but like it's one. I said I was just playing. I just
And
want
he said you come on here all this time, and I'm surprised you know what you're talking about.
well, honestly, but I do disagree with one thing. I do disagree with just one thing. I don't necessarily think it's all Tony Khan now, because like you said, he is improving. He is getting better. Like I will judge him on the booking standpoint, but like you said, he's not crashing out old people. He's not coming out there from when I went to the Phoenix, Arizona AEW event. Are you ready for the greatest AEW event of all time? Like, calm down. Like, relax yourself. Like,
Turn the Brian Breaker out there, y'all.
yeah. Like, he came out before the show. It came out after the show. Said the exact same thing. Isn't this the greatest show you've ever seen in your life?
Yeah, see, that's too much.
Like,
Just put this
brother,
show on.
relax yourself. Like, he moonwalking. Like, bro, like, calm down. Like, it ain't even that deep. And so, like, looking at how this whole thing is played out, like you said, their thing is just they're trying so much to stick to. They can't take criticism. They're exactly what they talk. They're exactly what old folks talk about when they talk about the new generation. I think that's exactly what it is. When old folks talk about, oh, that's that new generation, they're sensitive. They can't take criticism. You say something about them and they just hating. What's a good example of that? Jim Ross. Man, y'all get together and quail up, and this is just stupid. It don't work.
But
And
you don't see
everybody
what
in
we
the
talking about.
AEW locker room had a problem. Every time Jim Ross spoke up, they had a problem. Every time CM Punk said something out of place or spoke up, they had a problem. And then every time, well, Jungle Boy, he spoke up, but CM Punk had a problem. It was just that was the problem. And so honestly, you just can't take criticism. Like this John Moxley stuff it's been cheeks. It's been awful for months. For months and months. We haven't seen the AEW title. It was in a briefcase. It's getting stale. It's boring. It's dry. Like my throat right
You don't
now.
see the
I'm in
title.
pain.
I am the title. I am the AEW champion.
Right, exactly. He's like, you guys want to what do you want to see? What do you want to see? Like, bro, like I don't want to see you. That's the thing. I want you to go home. He's like, I just want you to go. Like John Moxley leads to another conversation that we're gonna talk about later. But honestly, it gets annoying. You don't listen to your fans. I feel the exact same way I felt about WWE when Vince McMahon was in charge a couple years ago, showing us random golden eggs. Turning Nikki Cross into Nikki ASH, even though
Hey,
she
she became
said
women's champion.
yeah, stop it,
Not many women can say
stop
that.
it.
I'm just saying, like
Like, yes, that's true, and yes, she also said she had a part of that too. But no, like this isn't okay.
I had
This,
what's his name? Ezekiel.
yeah, Ezekiel, Zeke, speak with Zeke.
You know,
All
when
this.
I'm sorry, the last one I ain't mean to cut you off. Remember that one dude that was always coming? Pause. Every
Whoa,
week.
whoa,
I'm so
whoa.
serious, dog. Oh, you remember that dude, Veer Mahan or something? Like there was always like Veer Mahan is coming.
Oh yeah, Veer Mahan
And it
is
was like a
coming.
running thing.
At first, I was so confused. I was like, bro, what? Like,
I
what
was
are
like,
we?
please let me finish this. I was like, please, before you
I was
do
like, we
anything,
are
let
on
me finish this.
YouTube. We're not on the program.
I was like, it was.
You ever seen that one video? Like, no, I didn't. He's like, no, like,
he just answered me. I don't know what Devin talking about, man.
right. I was like, I don't know what happened here. We just got kicked
Heel
off of
turn don't
YouTube.
represent these ideas. Like, what are you talking about?
We just got kicked off out of nowhere. It's all Devin fault. But
That should show you how wild that era was.
honestly, like, yeah, we going through so much. It just got to the point where, and we got reviews on that. You can find that. We got reviews just of WWE fatigue. So we're not even. This isn't even us picking sides. Like we were sick of WWE stuff. We saw Sami Zayn in the mousetrap at WrestleMania. Y'all thought y'all was pissed about this freaking main event. They were doing bull jive 2 years ago. And we were pissed about it. So honestly, it gets annoying. Like it gets irritating. And honestly, that brings us to the first off, that brings us to Lord, who comes off and says wrestling doesn't make money. Characters make money. Tony is not a character creator or a storyteller. hey, I can't think of one character that Tony's created that was successful so far. And in terms of like championship wise. I can't think. Hologram ain't we ain't seeing nothing from Hologram, not for a while. He ain't make Orange Cassidy.
That is an incredible point. Because I mean, ain't nobody selling T-shirts just based off wrestling alone. Your
Exactly.
T-shirt don't say "I wrestle," okay? They say "yeet." They say never give up. All these other stuff relating to their character. The wrestling is just it's a big part of it as well. But that was an excellent point you made.
Yeah, it was excellent. And then Devin says, and then there are wrestlers are oralists. For example, MJF, Mercedes Moné, Adam Copeland, and so on. I do love me some MJF, but MJF is definitely just he keeps saying the same old stuff. It gets annoying. Mercedes Moné can't talk. Mercedes Moné is so stagey to me. Cope is, Cope is 90 years old.
Cope, man. That's all you can do at this point with him.
Cope just looks like a skeleton, man. Like he's scary. Like, and I'm talking about on the face. Like it doesn't look chiseled to me. It looks scary. So
rated R superstar.
This is what we're getting. Christian talking about people's dead fathers. Okay, we get it. Ha ha he he. It's cool. Like, I don't really like even going back to the wrestler fatigue that we're gonna talk about later on. I yeet less now. Especially now that he champion. Well, that's because I could care less about Jey Uso now. Jey Uso could go on somewhere, man. He get on my last nerves. But that brings us to wrestler fatigue. We've seen a whole lot of MJF saying the same old stuff over and over again. We've seen too much of Mercedes Moné, and she keeps winning. In the words of John Cena, and winning, and winning, and winning. Cope shows up, gets injured, leaves, come back, repeat. It just gets annoying. And then, of course, the Young Bucks. Bro, I turned on the show yesterday. The Young Bucks showed up, the very first match. I was like, well, I guess I ain't watching AEW for the first 40 minutes. Oops. I would just miss this segment because I refuse to give them brothers another viewership. I almost pulled a Booker T. I refuse to give them any type of viewership.
You talking about me?
Like, the Young Bucks get on my last night. Like, I can handle Kenny Omega. I don't mind Kenny Omega. To me, Kenny Omega can wrestle. But the Young Bucks, it's the same thing over and over again. You already know what they're gonna do. And honestly, as Devin the Tribal Chief said, oralists, and they suck. So that's I got to get that off my chest. That's pretty much the biggest issue with AEW. That's the biggest issue with AEW too. People think they're bigger than what they really are. Mercedes Moné, I think Hangman Adam Page, the Young Bucks. I do think there's a lot of Swerve Strickland. I do think is huge. My man on Vlad TV. Come on now. Real ones know what that is. Swerve Strickland on Vlad TV. For Swerve Strickland with the culture. I'm expecting to see Swerve Strickland on a Jeff Teague podcast soon. If he didn't already.
Jey Uso was on there.
Yeah, Jey Uso was on there. Jacob Fatu was on there. Swerve Strickland gonna make his way there. Swerve Strickland gonna be there. But
he's gonna have Chad Gable on there. Oh, I'm done.